everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the original guru of Good Game. And this is your host, the one and only original guru of Good Game himself, Zero Game. But you can call me Zero, you can call me Zero G, you can call me Z, you can call me ZG, you can call me the OZG, you can call me just Z or just G. I don't really care. I respond to every single one of them. And I once again want to appreciate everybody for sticking with me and listening, and for the likes, the shares, the comments, the reviews, the subscriptions, everything. Thank you so much. Y'all really just don't know how much I appreciate it, and I wish I could explain it better in the words, but I don't know how to put a hug into a word. So I would love to give every one of y'all a hug for being fans or listeners or Patreons, whatever y'all want to call yourselves. I just really want to say thank you. I really do appreciate all that love y'all showing me. So we are going to get in today's episode, and today's episode is a little bit different. It's kind of on the little twisted side, but it is a much necessary and needed subject to talk about. And this subject is money, the root of all evil and mental health. Oh yeah, I know. I'm going to get deep on your ass on this one, but you know what? Because it's money, we deserve to get deep on it, because that shit ain't no good. Money has never been no good. Money is the slave chains they put around your neck. They're invisible. These are invisible slave chains they put around your neck. This is what I want everybody to do. When the next time you go online or on your phone, or when you just have a few minutes to read something, I want you to go Google the Willie Lynch Doctrine. Now, I know that those from that racist era of slave trade, especially during the Jim Crow, they keep saying that, oh, Willie Lynch was a mythology. Willie Lynch never existed. Yeah, if you trying to cover up your violent, murderous past, yeah, you gonna say some shit like that. I mean, that's only natural. People trying to, defend their character and their family legacy in the name of their family. Of course they gonna say some shit like that. That, oh, he never existed. This was just a mythology. Now, the thing about the Willie Lynch Doctrine, and incidentally, this is where the term lynching came from, was from Willie Lynch. But, as they say, he didn't exist. This was all a mythology. Yada, 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 yada. Okay, I'll listen to your bullshit on a later date, but I believe the fucker existed. And the Willie Lynch Doctrine says that you should have the old slave pitted against the young slave, the light-skinned slave pitted against the dark-skinned slave. If you keep this up, then you will keep control of the slave for hundreds of years to come. That's what he believed. So that's why he constantly why they pitting us against each other right now. The young against the old, the light against the dark, the woman against the man against the woman. Keep that conflict going. Remember, Sun Tzu, one of his greatest military strategies always was, I recommend everybody read his book, The Art of War, but do read it. And one of his greatest military strategies was divide and conquer. We still use that shit in military conflicts this very day, right now. Over somewhere overseas, we trying to divide two factions up so we can kick their ass. Because see, if they unite, then, oh man, there's too many of them, be a hard ass fight to beat, we might not win. But if we divide them and they're smaller, then we go kick their ass first. And then when they see how bad we kick their ass, them motherfuckers over there may not fight as tough or as hard to defend themselves against us after we, they seen what we did to them. So they might even bow down and accept our bullshit, or they'll just fight until we just wipe them out, and then they won't be a problem anyway. That was the Willie Lynch Doctrine. And the reason why I bring Willie Lynch up in the first place when it comes to money is because the entire slave trade was nothing but about money. That's all it was. It was money. A lot of people, oh, they were trying to get slaves to do their labor. Exactly the point. Labor, which you usually get paid for. But if we go get us a bunch of niggas, we ain't got to pay them shit but a whip. Tell them to grow their own vegetables in the back of their little barracks. And here's some entrails and some leftover shit that we ain't going to eat off the pig or the cow that you motherfuckers can have. So that's what's left over. And that's what y'all going to do with it. But I bring that up because, like I said, Willie Lynch, it was all about control. And controlling their slaves so that they can get that free labor so they can build that wealth. A lot of people in this country who come from money come from slave-made money. That money that you so comfortably sitting on and living your lavish, privileged lifestyle, you got all that. Your ancestors got all that wealth on the oppression, the mistreatment, and the abuse of black people, of slaves, slave labor, where you didn't have to pay them to work. Because white folks wasn't going for that, who came from England and all over and was coming to this country. You was not about to put them on your plantation and have them working out there picking cotton and picking tobacco for free. They wasn't going to do it. And you knew damn well you couldn't do that to a white person because they wasn't going to go for that shit. So you came up with the idea, hey, let's just go get us some slaves. They can do the work. We can get paid. We'll be wealthy. What more could you ask for? So the reason why I brought that up in its contents of the money is because first, that was the first half of the Willie Lynch doctrine. Now later on, you'll see that the paradigm shifted during the freeing of the slaves. And it was known that the European model of slavery was different. And it went something like this. With physical slavery, you have to house the slave, feed the slave, and clothe the slave. And then you have to discipline the slave using the most harshest of disciplinary actions to keep the slave in place. The European model was to switch from chains to finance, to where you control the money that the slave gets and let the slave go out and pay for his home, pay for his clothes, pay for his own food. In this way, you can control the slave without actually having to have possession of the slave. It will be this: the best slave is the one that freely volunteers to be a slave. And that's how they are controlling us. Because right now in this world that we live in our society, in our culture, in our global economic system, it is God. It is the only God. And people will say, you crazy saying some shit like that. What's wrong with you, man? Money ain't no God. Doesn't it say in your Bible that thou shalt not worship false gods? Idolatry, ain't that what they calling it? Idol worshiping. Show me how the fuck y'all not worshiping money right now. Y'all got TV shows bragging about how much all the lavish shit you can buy with your money. It was called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Now it's called Most Expensivest. And I don't even think that expensive is a fucking word, but I guess it is now. But that's what the new show is, going around seeing how you can spend this money and how much shit costs and all of this shit to live the rich lifestyle. That is idol worshiping. Any fucking way y'all want to try to justify it or redefine it, it still comes down to the same thing. That's you worshiping something that ain't even alive. A piece of paper with some ink and some numbers on it. That's all the hell it is. And y'all worshiping it like it's a god. And you don't think so? You think I'm wrong on this? You think I'm maybe just a crackpot fucker that's making up some crazy ass shit off the top of his head? Y'all going into the conspiracy theory now crap, even though money is a conspiracy in itself, but that's a whole nother conversation we can have on a later date. But right now, for what I'm talking about, money is our God. How many times you heard a preacher say, I need money to do the Lord's work? Please give freely your donations to the church so we can carry on the work of the Lord. Yeah. Tell me y'all ain't hearing that shit right now. How many of them TV angelical preachers we done now known that Whoa, they got busted on some serious shit, didn't they? Not to mention that them having sex with children or having homosexual sex when they on TV and on the pulpit preaching about how all those homosexuals and people that indulge in that kind of, as they say, abnormal behavior will burn in the eternal flames of hell. How many times have we done heard them fuckers say that, and then they get busted because they up in a hotel room with some methamphetamine bent over a table with a buffed out massage therapist ramming their asshole out. But they're not going to burn in hell because why? They carry the Bible around and preach the word of the Lord. You see? Do you see how the shit is getting all twisted and fucked up? How the very religion that's supposed to free us from slavery is the one that's helping to keep us in slavery over this piece of paper that we call money. We slaves to it. We worship it. We freely became slaves to it, and we freely worship a false god, an idol, a symbol, an image, a piece of fucking paper. And we out here worshiping it like it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to mankind. And in reality, it is the worst thing that ever happened to humans on this planet was the interjection of money into our lives. That shit ain't nothing but pain and anguish. It creates abhorrent behavior. Look at what people will do to get it. I mean, we got children murdering their families, their parents, sisters, brothers, try to collect insurance money. We got husbands killing wives, wives killing husbands to get the insurance money so they can get paid and live the good life. We got our children, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, underground prostitutes that you don't even know. They out here selling ass for $5, $10. Pair of sneakers, gold chain. Some of them in poor neighborhoods is so desperate to just have anything of any value come into their life. They out here selling pussy and booty for a hamburger, for some groceries to go in the refrigerator, to cover the rent in this rat-infested, run-down, roach-infested piece of shit-ass apartment that they selling ass for so they ain't sleeping on the street corner. But then I know all of y'all who living in a nice home in a nice neighborhood, it's your fault you like that. It's your fault that you didn't have a better life. It's all your fault. You blame the victim. That's always been the problem with this country. Blame the victim. It's the victim's fault. It's your fault. Woman out here dressing like that, you get raped. That's your fault. Young man out here dressed like that, walking around hip hopping and bebopping. If you get shot by the cops, that's your fault. Blame the victim. All the while worshiping the almighty motherfucking dollar. The almighty dollar. See, money doesn't really do shit. Can you put money on your plate and eat that shit? Can you take stacks of money and build you a fucking house with it that will protect you from the elements? If a bear running at your ass and about to swipe half your ass off, yeah, take out that knot of money and throw it at it and see what happens. Money doesn't do shit. Money doesn't put the seed in the ground. Money doesn't make the ground give up nutrients for the seed for it to grow. Money doesn't make the seed grow. Money doesn't make the seed sprout. Money doesn't make it turn into a plant. Money doesn't make it produce fruit and vegetables. Money don't do none of that shit. Money don't do a damn thing. Money doesn't make your clothes. Money didn't build your house. Your car is not made of money. You can't take stacks of money and build a car and drive around the fucking town in it. You can't stack up money and make heavy earth moving equipment and clear out some land to build homes or put out a fire. Can't do none of that shit with money. Money can't do none of that shit. All money can do is go from one fucking hand to the other. That's it. That's all its purpose is, to go from one hand to the other and to say, if I give you this piece of paper, you either give me that good product or service. Now, if that ain't a con job of the highest proportions, then you people are seriously sleeping, and somebody need to slap your ass awake if you don't see this. Unless you just delusional and you don't want